Welcome, everyone. My name is Tony Martinez of the CDPE, and thank you so much for joining me today as we discuss listing pre-foreclosures. I want to make sure that you all know that you're in the right class. If you need listings, if you want more listings, if you're desperate for listings, can you go ahead and raise your hand in the chat area? I like to get the audience engaged because this is a tough medium to communicate with folks in, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page right now, right? There is a shortage of inventory. I hear agents crying all the time. I'm one of them. We need more inventory. We need more listings. And this is what this class is all about. Now, I think you guys are in for a treat because usually when I do a class that centers around actual strategies and techniques for how to actually approach distressed homeowners, I normally reserve that only for members of the CDPE. But what I'm finding is that we as realtors, me as a business owner and a realtor broker, sometimes you have to pivot and you have to adjust your message. For the past 2 years, I've been talking about how there's a wave of foreclosures coming, and the vast majority of agents and leaders in the industry have not paid attention. I went ahead and said, listen, we owe it to the folks that are going through these difficulties, foreclosure, to go ahead and be prepared to help them avoid foreclosure. And that message resonated a little bit, but nowhere near as much as I expected. So now the message is get listings, because I think no matter where you are in the country, you could benefit from having a strategies for opening up an area of the business that maybe, just maybe, you haven't been paying attention to. So today is all about listing pre-foreclosures. Now, I see a lot of good friends, a lot of old friends here on the call, but there's some new folks that may not know exactly who I am. So a quick introduction. Again, Tony Martinez. I am based in South Florida. I am a licensed broker owner. My wife and I own an independent agency. We have 5 offices and about 250 agents. So we do know what you're going through out there. And listen, I pull what little hair I have out, trying to get my own agents to engage in this area. Because oftentimes, we lead people to water, but they just refuse to drink. And what I'm hoping is that here, my message will reach some hearts out there and some minds and get you motivated to take some action. I've been teaching on the subject of short sales now since 2008. I have taught as many or more agents on the subject than anybody else in the country. And this really began when I joined the CDPE movement. A little bit more about that in the next slide, back in 2008. Now, if you were around licensed doing real estate business in 2008 through, 2011 or since then, come up with an emoji and post it in the chat that reflects what we went through in that market, because there's a whole lot of agents licensed right now that have only been licensed during an ascending market and don't really understand how bad things got. And when you understand history, you kind of figure it's not impossible that history can repeat itself. Well, 2 years ago, I made a bold decision to acquire the CDPE. Many people that didn't even know it at the time, the CDPE had been shut down by its former owners. I saw the need maybe sooner than a lot of people did, and I acquired it, brought it back, and I've been teaching it ever since. There are a lot of OGs on the call. Now, the OGs are how I affectionately refer to CDPEs from back in the day. They're the old guard. They're the original gangsters. They've been in this battle and this fight for a long time, and many of them have chosen to come back into the fold, and we're blessed to have them. I'm also the president and COO of LikeRE.com, and I need you to really jot down that website address, LikeRE.com. You're going to be hearing a lot about this. I'm going to touch on it a little bit later in the presentation, but I was brought on for one specific purpose, and that is to build out a professional development platform that is second to none, really geared to be non-denominational, brand neutral, where agents from all companies could go to one place and have access to amazing training, mentoring, coaching, conferences, tools, all of the above. Now, the CDP, as I mentioned, did start in 2008. For those of you that are around, you know what we went through. We had the largest foreclosure cases of all time. I think over 10 to 11 million properties were foreclosed on. And at that time, most were underwater, meaning that most did not have any equity at all. And real training on the subject of short sales, we're going to talk about short sales today, really didn't exist until the Sharfins brought it to the market. I was blessed to join them toward the end of 2008. I taught my first class in 2009, quickly became the trainer of trainers, and went on to teach tens of thousands of agents. So we're back, we're growing, and we are proving to be very timely now, given the situation that's going on. So what am I going to cover in just an hour and 15 minutes? I want to share some numbers with you, some stats on distressed properties and foreclosures and what's going on across the country. I believe more on the way. I'm not going to go deep into this today because I don't want to turn this into, oh, Tony thinks he knows the future. No, I see some things developing that concern me, and I want you guys to pay attention to these to see if it does happen or not. But I'm not really going to focus too much on what's coming. I want to focus on what's already here right now. You need to know what short sales are. And for a lot of you, you've never engaged in one before, either representing a seller or representing a buyer. So it's imperative that I go ahead and cover this with you so that you can at least be prepared. Then we're going to talk about lead generation, because that's why you're here, right? So what can I share with you in the limited time that we have that could just maybe open up your mind to saying, I can do that. I haven't done that. There aren't a whole lot of people in my market that are doing that right now. So I need to take advantage of this. And then if I pour my heart out for a little over an hour and give you idea after idea after idea, I don't believe any of you are going to mind that toward the end, I also share with you how you can join our movement. And if you are a CDPE now, how you can take it to another level with the CDPE Advanced program. Time is critical, timing is critical. We need you to engage now before the rest of the market starts to play catch up. Right now, you have a significant advantage over your competition. This is how I view distressed properties. Distressed properties are the low-hanging fruit. They're right there, right for the picking, but the vast majority of real estate agents either A, don't even know it exists as a segment of the market, or they had a bad experience, they heard somebody talking about their bad experience, or maybe worse, they've had bad mentoring and bad leadership. In fact, now would be a good time for me to go ahead and give a shout out to someone that I have a lot of respect for. See, this session was originally going to be a private session only for MVP Realty out of Florida. And I've made contact with Derek Carlson, who is their CEO and founder. And he had the foresight to say, yes, I want you to bring this training to my agents. And I says, Derek, would you mind if I opened it up to other agents so that I can leverage this class and reach more people? He said, no, the more the merrier. We need more leaders like him. We need more people to step up and say, we have a way for you to go ahead and buck the trend and go out there and get more listings. Don't be afraid. Now, this is a niche. And as any niche out there, you can choose to ignore it. It is not the market right now. In 2008, 9, and 10, for every 10 listings that were out there, probably 6 or 7 were distressed properties. That is not the case right now. But I believe it is going to get worse before it gets better. So I hope you listen to that message. This is a niche that's worth exploring. Agents are looking for listings, usually in all the wrong places. So here's why I put this screen up, because this might be you prior to today. La, 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 Tony, don't give me any doom and gloom. I don't want to be depressed. Do you know that I've had leaders of big brokerages literally tell me, I don't want to expose my agents to this negative information? And I'm going, that makes no damn sense. I'm sorry, it makes no damn sense. Because at the end of the day, none of us caused the foreclosures. Foreclosures never went away. They've always been there. Yeah, they were on pause for almost 2 years because of the moratoriums, but bad things happen to good people every single day. And for some reason, it stopped being front page news, right? And agents felt like, oh, there's no need for this anymore. So yeah, for 2 years, I've been fighting an uphill battle, but it's getting easier, and I'll tell you why. The press is picking up on what's going on. Now, before you jump up and say it's impossible for us to have foreclosures or that many foreclosures, we have so much equity out there right now. See, I don't want you to say that because then you're going to embarrass yourself. Because here's the reality. Having equity and being able to make your payments are two separate issues. You feel me? There's people every single day right now that are getting laid off from their jobs. There are people every single day right now that have reached the limit on how much they could pay. And they may be sitting on $100,000. They may be sitting on $200,000, but they can't access it because they're out of work. Does that make sense? Or maybe they've already tapped that well 2 or 3 times already. So please separate the issues. And this is the part that's the most mind-boggling for me, because back in the day, in 2008 and 9 and beyond, for every 10 foreclosures, 6 or 7 were underwater. They were short sales. They were underwater. But now, at least for now, there's so much more equity in the market. Now, here's where I'm going with this. Imagine somebody losing their home, having the bank take back that property, and they're sitting on $200,000 worth of equity. Explain that to me. Why would anybody, knowing that all they have to do is list the property with a skilled real estate professional, get it sold, cash out as much as you can, go start over? Why would they willingly go into foreclosure? Because they don't know. They don't understand. And we're not aggressive enough. You know what bothers me is, you know who is aggressive? The investors, who often are really scammers. Imagine somebody knocking on somebody's door right now and saying, look, I know you're in trouble. I know the bank's taking the house away, but I can help you. I can save you. In fact, I can give you $10,000 right now, and I'll take care of this. You don't have to worry about it. You can go about your business. And you know what tends to happen? The people that take that offer, they had $90,000 in equity that they could have pocketed had they listed the property and sold it through an agent. This is why I'm so passionate about this, because we have to mobilize. Now, the news is picking up on this. Every single month, about the 9th or 10th of the month, I go to adamdata.com. Adamdata, I'm gonna share some stats in a second. And they always publish reports, and they're the best at it, right? And then this last one, all of a sudden, the major news outlets are picking up on this. And that told me everything I needed to hear. It's on. When the news starts talking about it, then you know it's on. Foreclosures are rising nationwide. Florida, California, and Texas in the lead. My home state of Florida, as well as we're still doing pricing-wise and sales-wise, in comparison to other areas, Florida's #1 in the country in foreclosure starts, yet no one's talking about it. And no one's engaging in this. Look at this, Realtor.com reported on this. How bad of an omen is this for the 2023 housing market? There are people just right now, there's some of you right now listening to this. This is the first you hear this. This is the first that anybody has shared anything like this. So wake up. Here's some stats, because we're all entitled to our own opinions, right? But we're not entitled to our own facts. So this is right off of Adam Data. Foreclosure starts for May 2023. Florida at the very top, California, Texas, Illinois, New York. You know what this reminds me of? Deja vu all over again. Because if you were around back in the day, these were the top states back in the day. New Jersey's there, Maryland is there. It's amazing the number of foreclosures that are going unrecognized right now. Now, filings, these are the ones that went all the way to the end. This went all the way to the end, and the property was resold, repossessed, everything last month, up 7% from the month before and 14% from the year before. I think this is why everyone picked up on it, because hold up a second. Last year, when I would post the numbers against the year before, the numbers were a little skewed because there were hardly any foreclosures in 2021. So of course, when you start seeing the foreclosures coming back in 2022, the numbers are going to be astronomically high against 2021. But now we're up against 2022 numbers, and people are seeing the direction that the foreclosure filings are going. Does that make sense to you all? Now, what states have the highest foreclosure rates? That means foreclosures in relationship to number of units. We're talking Illinois. I know Debbie's out there somewhere. Maryland, New Jersey, Florida, and Ohio. So it would shock me that agents in these states are not writing everything down right now and saying, where do I start? Where can I begin? I'm going to share that with you today. Now, for those of you that are thinking about REOs, here's the plea I'm going to make for you. REOs mean real estate owned. That means that the property has been foreclosed on. You know, when the property goes into auction and the minimum that the lender is seeking is not met, the property is actually repossessed, taken back by the lender and put back on the market as an REO through a listing broker somewhere in the area. A lot of agents want to be REO agents. And here's what I have found. The vast majority of agents that want to be REO agents have never been an REO agent before, so they don't understand how difficult that is, how restrictive it is, how low profit it can be, and how difficult it can be to get in. And the reality is there are very, very few REOs right now. And I want to tell you why that's a good thing. If it never reaches the REO status, that means that hopefully the homeowner works something out with the bank to stay in the property, or if they couldn't do that, they exited with dignity. Now, I want you to write that down. In fact, write that down in the chat area. Exit with dignity. When you can't stay in your home, exit with dignity by selling the property. Now, did you notice the wordplay there? Whenever I'm engaging in a conversation with a homeowner about doing everything possible to keep them in their home, I refer to it as their home. When the conversation shifts to, you got to get out, there's no way you can stay, I don't use the term home anymore. I refer to it as property. I start making a psychological divide, separation right there, so they can get on with their lives. There's nothing dignified about the sheriff escorting you to the curb. But you can do a regular sale. You know what? If they have equity, it's a regular sale. And if they don't have equity and you have the right training, I happen to know a guy, you can do short sales. But they're starting to perk up. But look how low the numbers are. Look at this. Illinois, 352, and so on. You know that on 2 occasions in the past 30 to 60 days, I've spoken to 2 REO groups via Zoom. And I said, guys, I know you're passionate about doing REOs, but why not also do pre-foreclosures? Instead of standing in line hoping that the lender will give you a shot, and most people never get that shot, why don't you take your future in your own hands and start reaching out directly to the distressed homeowners, where they make the decision of who they list with? Doesn't that make sense? Now, what are zombie foreclosures? Those are properties that have been abandoned. And that number is at almost 1.3 million right now. Now, I have no way of knowing to what degree these are on the market already, but I believe a lot of them are not on the market. And here's why I think this is happening. The typical homeowner does not know the law, their rights, or their options when they're served with a foreclosure notice. You all would agree with that, right? You can shake your head. They don't know. So what happens when they get this notice? They freak out. What do they often do? They get out. They abandon the property to do what? Where are you going to go that you're going to pay less than what you're paying now, which is zero, unless you're going to move in with mom and dad? Stay in your home until the bitter end, and then hire one of us to see if maybe we can help you exit with some equity, with some dignity. But they don't notice unless we reach out to them. And there's going to be so many. Look, write this down. This is off script, but I don't care. Write this down. Airbnb, short-term rentals. There is going to be so much opportunity for you guys in the short-term rental market. Have you seen what's going on? Have you seen the surplus of short-term rentals in many markets where there's just everyone got in on it? This was the big thing to get into 2 years ago. Interest rates were dirt cheap. People were buying 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 properties for this. They were renting them out. They were making all kind of money. Now it's slowing down. What else is happening? Well, some cities are saying you can't do it. Cities are banning it. You know who else is banning it? Many associations are banning it. So there's going to be a whole lot of homeowners that are sitting on these short-term rentals, and maybe they'll try a long-term rental, but probably come nowhere near what they were making. And some of them will just say, I got to get rid of this property. So as you're driving around, which you should be driving around the areas you market, you see a vacant property. You see a vacant property, especially that's unkept. You need to get that address and you need to do some digging to find out if it's on the market right now. Don't waste your time. And if it's not, then go into the foreclosure area of your local courthouse and find out if this property is in the foreclosure process. Then reach out to those absentee owners. Now, I'm not going to get into this too long, but yes, I do believe we're going to see more foreclosures, as I think the feds, well, they said it. They're not done raising the rates. They paused, but they're not done. They have said we need to get inflation down to 2%. It's at about 4% right now. So what does that mean? They tighten the screws. What in the past, every time that they have tightened the screws, what has that meant to the economy? It has meant unemployment. What does unemployment equate to? Missed payments. So you know where I'm going with this? Now, please write this down, okay? It's not just unemployment that's going to drive a lot of foreclosures going forward. And let me tell you why. I'm going to quote you some quick stats. About 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That is horrible. They're one missed paycheck away from missing a mortgage payment. You all got that? All right. Consumer debt is at the highest it's ever been. Consumer credit card debt is at the highest it's ever been. Surveys have shown that only 43% of Americans have $1,000 sitting in a savings account for an unplanned emergency. Now, you tell me, as the unemployment numbers start to grow, which historically has been exactly what happens when the feds squeeze and squeeze, how many of these Americans are going to be sitting on any reserves? Now, put that aside. What's going on with property taxes? Are they going up or down in many markets? Straight up. Property insurance. You know, a lot of people in Florida are not paying attention to the fact that people won't be able to afford to live in Florida because of home insurance. You have now laws that are going into effect in Florida that require associations to have a certain reserve. And a lot of these associations are not going to be able to have that. So people are starting to exit those markets, starting to exit those properties. Associations, homeowner associations have raised their rates. People are paying more for gas. They're paying more for food. They're paying more for everything. It's squeezing the American consumer. So I foresee some pain in the future, but I'm not I'm not Nostradamus. I don't have a crystal ball. Let's just focus on what we have right now. People tell me, is this going to get really, really bad? I go, I hope it's not going to get bad as 2008. See, this is 2008, and homeowners were standing on this rock with 100-foot tsunami coming their way because they were losing their homes. Now, I think it's going to be a 20-footer or a 25-footer. So technically not as bad. But if you're that homeowner standing on that rock, are you really saying size matters right now? I don't think so. Now, here's another logical question. Are we going to get another wave of short sales? Well, first of all, let's take a different viewpoint. Who cares? See, whether they have equity or they don't, they're going to lose their home. So why don't I step up and reach out to them? Does that make sense? But I do see a lot more short sales coming. Now, write this down, and this is why. How many Americans bought in the past 2 years at the very, very top of the market? Hundreds of thousands, right? Very, very top of the market. How many of them paid above market price for their homes? You saw the ridiculous things that are happening back in the day, like 50, 60,000 over appraised price. How many people bought using FHA? Only putting 3.5% down. How many people bought conventional? Only putting 3% down. How many people bought VA? 0% down. Now you have a major lender in the market saying, we're offering or going to offer 1% down mortgages, right? So people are going to have very little to no skin in the game. Well, did you guys pay attention to the recent median home price report that just came out for May? Well, I would Google it, because our median home price, that means half is higher, half is lower, across the country, I'm not saying specific, across the country went down 3.1%. Do you know that that 3.1% may represent that entire down payment these folks put in? When the property values go down by 3.1%, we're talking billions upon billions of equity that is erased from the market, gone. So think about what's coming, and you let me know if it's not a good idea for you to understand what a short sale is. And basically, it's a situation where they owe more than they can sell it for. We list it as a short sale. We get a viable buyer that's qualified and patient. We package it up and work with a short sale negotiator to send this package into the lender or lenders. And then we hurry up and wait as the negotiations begin to hopefully arrive at a conclusion where the lender sees the benefit of losing some money now versus losing significantly more later. What I just described is nowhere near as easy as I just described it. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. But you know what I'm dealing with all the time? A lack of information. Now, the other day I was on a call with a very, very intelligent man. And he says, well, you know, I think one of the reasons why people are going to stay away from short sales is because they don't want to earn less commission. And I'm going, why would they earn less commission? I go, well, isn't it usually a lot less? I go, no. In fact, my agents are complaining that when they go into the MLS to show property, you have a lot of agents that have put a very, very low cooperating broker commission on the other end, 1 sandwich, 1.5 sandwich, whatever. And I go, do you understand that if you go to Fannie Mae's site, right there on Fannie Mae's site, it says that we will pay what is normal, what is typical as a commission in an area to not exceed 6%. It's right on there. That's why I said 6%. It's right on there. So you know that you actually stand a much better chance of netting significantly more in a short sale than you do a regular sale. And he kind of gave me that blank expression. I go, yeah, a lack of knowledge can hurt, buddy. Pay attention. All right, you guys ready for some ideas? Let me take a look at the chat area here and see what we got so far. All my buyers paid over asking. Yeah. Call them now, Alfred, and say, are you happy with your purchase? You're going to find a lot of them are not. Yeah. Exit with dignity. Yep. Okay. Pretty rich. Living paycheck. Yeah. You could be house rich and whatever, house poor. All right. Let me give you some ideas right now. Where do I find them? That's the first thing people ask me. I wish all the questions were this easy. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen the FedEx logo before? Yeah, who hasn't? Did you notice an arrow in the logo? Half of you say yes, half of you say, what are you talking about? Yes, there's an arrow in the logo. The logo has always had an arrow in there. But you know who didn't see it? The people that weren't looking for it. So let me tell you, you've come across distressed properties, I don't know how many times. You just haven't picked up on it because your antenna wasn't up. So you passed up opportunities. That shouldn't happen anymore going forward. Ready? Here's where you start. Now, I'm going to give you a trick here. I want you to draw 3 columns on a sheet of paper. It's just 3 categories, right? A, B, and C. Here's what I teach in my classes. Here's what you have to know. You always work backwards. Now, what does that mean? Well, in your A column, and if I had to affix a percentage of your time, spend about 70% of your lead generation time in distressed properties, 70% of your time in category A. These are properties that already have a sale or auction date. You write that down? They have a sale or auction date. And people say, how do I know this? It's public information. It's right there on the courthouse site. Now, the reason why you focus on these folks is because they have the least amount of time and they should have the least amount of excuses. They need to take action yesterday. That's where you start. Now, B column is about 20% of your time, B column. The B column are folks that have a foreclosure filing against them. That means it's official, it's public knowledge. The foreclosure action has started, but as of now, there is no sale date. So they still have time. Not a tremendous amount of time, but they have more time. Now, your C column, that leaves you 10%. These are individuals that are behind 2 months, 3 months, whatever, right? But the bank hasn't initiated foreclosure action against them. Now, typically there's no list like this that you can purchase, but through social media and referrals and other methods, you can get these people to reach out to you seeking help before they get into that time crunch. Does that make sense? So start locally. Now, if you're in Florida, and I know that other areas of the country, if you have the program IMAP, like for example, I'm a member of the Miami Association, I have access to IMAP. I can go into IMAP right now and do a search for taxes, MLS, and also foreclosures. And I've used this effectively so many times when I go into a presentation and people go, Tony, there's no foreclosures in my area. I go, you use IMAP? I go, yeah, go in, put in your zip code. What do you got? I found 43 foreclosures. Yeah, you're right, there's nothing. So it's just sitting there waiting for you. Now, I'm a big believer of investing in my business, so I would subscribe to RedX. And for disclosure purposes, I am an affiliate of RedX. And when I send out this recording, I'm going to send out contact information because they have special pricing for my CDPEs. Because here's what I'm concerned about. When you pull up the information on the courthouse site, it's not going to have phone numbers. It's not going to have email addresses. In situations when you do have phone numbers, you have to scrub the phone number against the do not call list. Because who wants a $10,000 or $11,000 fine for trying to build your business? So always scrub the numbers against the do not call list. And RedX has an amazing program, and you tell them you're a CDPE, they'll bend over backwards to help you. All right, you got that idea? Let's keep going. Now, if you are a CDPE, here's a shameless plug for my CDPE. Here's the first thing that I need you to do. Pronounce it correctly. I can't tell you how many times somebody sends me an email saying, Tony, I'm a COPD. And I'm like, I am so sorry. It must be rough. Come on, man. If you can't even get the initial straight and you earned it, how are you going to talk about it? But here's why I tell people this is important. No, we're not a household word. It's not like the consumer knows what the CDPE is, but the consumer doesn't know what a GRI is or a CRS. They may know what an SOB is. I don't know. So here's my thinking. When you are trying to differentiate yourself from the competition, the fact that you've earned this designation should give you some advantages, because you can talk about the training you took and the standards that you uphold. In other words, don't be a secret agent, right? If you've earned designations, and I'm not just talking about the CDPE, whatever designation or certification you've earned, use it. Now, the next logical hesitation is, I don't know what to say. Like, if you picked up the phone right now and called the distressed homeowner, what are you going to say? They won't know what to say. That's going to be a little tough, right? So yes, I am a huge believer in dialogues. Now, I'm not a believer in scripts. I'm a believer in dialogues. But you can't get to the point where you are great at dialogue if you don't have a script to operate from. Does that make sense? See, I was born with the gift of winging it. I'll tell you, I have. But let me tell you something. I've been around Floyd Wickman. I used to work with Floyd Wickman. I've promoted Floyd Wickman and Mike Ferry and everything else. You know what these greats taught me? That you need to be powerful when it comes to dialogue. So write this down. Ready? I remember this from the great Floyd Wickman like it was yesterday. You have to know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. When you can master those three, what to say, when to say it, and how to say it, and then you add a fourth, when you say it to enough people, there's no stopping you in this business. I believe you should practice with each other. The CDPE has created a community. We have a private Facebook group only for our members. And there is where I encourage them to talk to each other, schedule their own side Zooms where they practice with dialogue and scripts so they can get really, really good at it before they reach out to a consumer. My CDPEs have access to great scripts. And I'm not saying this is the only one. You know that YouTube changed everything. You can go into YouTube right now and say, I want to do this. Yeah. But yeah, the CDPE does have some tried and proven scripts and dialogues. And you know what the only problem I have with it? Enough of my agents are not using it. So you as an agent that is a CDPE member, you have access to the dashboard. You need to log in. Guys, have you ever joined a gym and never gone? If you've joined a gym and never gone, and you decide to cancel, are you going to blame it on the gym? I know some of you do. This didn't work for me. What part? The not showing up ever part? So I provide this for my members, but you got to go in and you got to get it. All right, write this down. Ready? Expired listings. I've always been a huge fan of expired listings. Why? Because the homeowners believed enough in one of us to list with one of us before. In fact, when I coach my agents, I say, look, you can call on expires, you can call on FSBOs, but until you get really, really strong, start with expires. Because FSBOs, they're young, they can be tough. I want you to gain some confidence first. Now, here's the twist. You're going to love this. I promise you're going to love this. What if you did a search of MLS listings that were short sales? Now, think about this. Why do properties expire? Typically, something went wrong. And we know that's mostly price. But it could be the agent didn't do this, blah, 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 blah. But think about this. Is it possible that someone could list their home and change their mind? Someone could list their home, it doesn't sell, because you know that there are a lot of sellers right now testing the market, right? They price it super, super high and they say, well, if I can get my price, I'll sell. If I don't, I won't. Yeah, these individuals, when the property expires, they could elect to not list again because they're okay. But if someone listed their property as a short sale, it's not because they wanted to sell, it's because they had to sell. And if the property expired, something went wrong. Now, how many of these people, it was a short sale, it expired, the auction hasn't yet happened, and they haven't relisted with somebody else? Do you feel me? Do you understand the opportunity that you have here, reaching out to these folks and engaging them in a conversation? First, make sure they're not listed with somebody else. And then make sure that the sale date has not come and gone. Once those two are out of the way, you got to pick up the phone, baby. You got to call them and say, ¿Qué pasó? Talk to me. Did your situation change? What do you mean? Did you work out something with the bank so that you're no longer in foreclosure? Oh, yeah, I did. Explain to me why you still have a sale date yet. See, when you're armed with this kind of information, there's no stopping you. Go after them, folks. All right. All right, this is making sense. Next, telephone prospecting. Most cost-effective way you can market. But again, make sure you're scrubbing the numbers against the do not call list. Now, don't expect a whole lot of people to answer the phone. Why? Well, people usually don't answer the phone anyway when they don't recognize the number, but the vast majority of people that are in foreclosure share a very bad habit. And that is that none of them ever answer the phones because they're afraid it's going to be the bank calling them. Now, when you do get them to pick up the phone, pay attention, introduce yourself as a foreclosure prevention advocate. Hi, is this Mrs. Smith? Yes. Hi, Mrs. Smith. This is Tony Martinez with ABC Realty. I'm calling you because I am a local foreclosure prevention advocate, and I came across your information in the public records. It seems like you're having some difficulty with your mortgage. Is that right? Yeah. I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm just calling you with one intention, and that is, have you sought out the help that you need? Do you understand your rights? Do you understand what your available options are? If you call them out of the gate trying to list their property, you're no better in their eyes than the bank because you're trying to get them out of the home just like the bank is. So try this approach, prevention advocate, foreclosure prevention advocate. All you're trying to do in that phone call is to set up a face-to-face. You're not going to list it over the phone. You just want to find out, are they open to a conversation? Are they open to being introduced to a foreclosure defense attorney? Are they open to receiving an email from you, a visit? Are they willing to come into the office? Door knocking. How many of you raise your hand if you put in DK? If you do door knocking now, put in DK into the thing. Most people don't. Let me tell you something. This is exactly why you need to do it, because most people don't. Don't copy what your competition is doing. Do what they're not doing. All right, Ivan, I love it. Now, here's the difference when you're door knocking for distressed properties, all right? I always feel that it's smart to partner with somebody because safety is always my concern. It's my concern as a broker. As a broker, I don't allow my agents to work an open house by themselves. As a broker, I don't allow my agents to meet a total stranger at a property. You know, safety first. But you know what? Sometimes that accountability buddy being there, when you get rejected, because there's some nasty people out there, not everybody's going to say, oh, prayed that someone would knock on my door. Doesn't always work out that way. In fact, it seldom does. That person can say, okay, let's go on to the next one. No, I don't, no. We got a list of 10 homes we said we're going to go visit. We're going to do that. No flaking out. Now, you know you're going to come across a lot of no soliciting rules. It's up to you whether you're going to listen to them or not. Okay, you're grown adults, but I will encourage you to not dress like a Fed. I would not dress in a suit and tie and look like you're about to serve them papers. I'd be wearing a very comfortable shoes for walking, maybe a polo shirt, maybe my hat that's got my, company logo on it. And once again, I'm going to introduce myself as a foreclosure prevention advocate, just meeting and greeting people that are going through. And here's something, you can't leave this out. And this applies to making phone calls as well. If you know that they have an auction date, bring proof of that with you, because that's critical. A lot of them don't even know they have an auction date. Now, if they go ahead and say, I've hired an attorney, don't be thrown off. In fact, congratulate them and say, I respect the fact that you're proactive and took the initiative. Now, just answer me one question. What did you hire them to do? Did you hire them to modify, work with the bank to try to get you a new loan? Or did you simply hire them to buy you more time? You know that if they don't have a JOB, chances are they're not going to get an MOD. So the reality is most people hire a foreclosure defense attorney to kick the can down the road. If they have a sale date, do you say, does your foreclosure attorney, did they let you know that your house is coming up for sale? Listen, well, I've hired an attorney, so everything is under control. Under control, right? Yeah. Then explain why you still have a sale date. See, I'm not afraid. I don't back down. I just say, no, listen, I'm glad you hired someone. That shows you took any initiative. But my concern is, what are they doing? Because your sale date's still coming up. And then, okay, so you hired them to buy you time. Yeah. So what's your plan B? What do you mean? What's your exit strategy? What do you mean? Well, listen, if you hired them to buy you time, at some point, they're going to run out of time. The vast majority of clients of foreclosure defense attorneys end up losing a home because they were only hired to delay the inevitable. So get into that conversation with them. Again, they're not going to say, hey, give me the listing agreement right now, but you've engaged them with facts. You have a sale date. You've engaged them with facts. At some point, you have to leave. Why don't we have you exit with dignity on your terms? Agent referrals. The vast majority of real estate agents, even when they take the CDPE, will not do anything with it. That's just life, man. So here's what I would do what Debbie does at her office in Illinois and so many other CDPs. They stand up at an office meeting and they say, I know most of you never want to work distressed properties. That's okay. I'll do it. Send them to me. I don't want anyone to lose their home without trying everything. And you can get 20 to 25% for doing nothing, and become that go-to person in your office. The other thing you have to do is, if you are a CDPE, you got to be on our private Facebook group. And if you're in the private Facebook group, you got to promote yourself as a referral source, because there's a ton of people from others in the same state as you. So why should they send the leads to you? Get aggressive, get active. Start to market to agents in throughout your market. Use those email flyer services to go ahead and send the word out to agents from all companies that you can be their referral source. Watch what will happen to your business if you did this consistently. Be the go-to person. You know what that also means? Your news outlets. How many of you have ever reached out or recently reached out to one of the local publications in your area and say, you should do a story on what's going on with foreclosures? You should do a story on what are the options to foreclosures, because they're climbing, and I can be your expert. I can be the person you interview. Isn't there any light bulbs going out right now saying, oh my God, I could do that? You know that if you're a CDPE, we provide you is sitting there in your dashboard with a press release. I can count on one hand the number of agents that have been through my class and gone in and downloaded this and customized it for them. I ain't doing it for you. You have to take this initiative. I'm providing you with these resources, but you have to do it. Folks, this is a tough medium to reach people to. Is any of this resonating? Can you post a smile emoji on the chat if any of this has any value to you? Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself because I really am just talking to myself. Carolyn, thank you. Sydney, thank you. Oh, I'm getting worried because I ain't done. Now, for those of you that understand the value of leverage, here's the thing. I hate trade shows. I hate trade shows with a passion. You know why? I work them, but every time somebody comes to the booth, I got to repeat the same thing over and over again. I love it when I get a chance to stand in front of an audience and I say the message to one person and a bunch of people hear it. You can do that. You can do that by putting on your own foreclosure prevention seminars and webinars. Now, here's the thing, and I'm going to go ahead and do this to my CDPEs because you know I love you, okay? You know you're not doing this. I know you're not doing this because if you were doing this, you would have told me about it. Tony, look what I did. Look what I'm doing. You're not doing this. You're threatening to do it, but you're not doing it. You got to do it. And you know what? Your first one may suck because your first one usually does suck. Dare to suck, as my friend Sean Kokoska would say, dare to suck. Because once you get that first one out of the way, you can only go up from there. And if you're really smart, you'll do the first ones to friends and family and say, let me just kind of like iron out the kinks with you. But you can do these live and in person. Man, if you're bilingual or multilingual, what advantages do you have? But I love doing them via Zoom. Look what I'm doing right now, right? There's at the very height, there were 81 of you on the call. So think about it, 240 registered, 81 on the call. My message is getting out to 81 people at the same time. What else am I doing? I'm recording it. What does that mean? I send it to everyone that registered and didn't attend. So my message keeps going out. What do? I download it and then I upload it to my YouTube channel. Hint, hint. What have I just added? More content for my YouTube channel. And don't make it about short sales. Don't make it about selling. Make it about saving and staying in their home. More people will tune in if you make the message about, are you in foreclosure? Are you behind in your payments and you don't know what to do? Tune in. Of course, you're going to get around to discussing what happens if you can't rescue them. But you know what you should do too? Invite a foreclosure defense attorney to be on the Zoom call with you. I assume that foreclosure defense attorneys in your area are hungry for business, and this is a great way for them to build their clientele. And they can take the hard questions. They could do the legal stuff. And then you tandem, you work together. Oh man, when you do this, it's lights out. Here's a sample piece right here on how to do this. I'm going to give you guys a gift. I know some of you are not CDPs. We're going to change that. But when I send out this email to you guys today, I'm also going to include this sample ad right here so that you guys have a template to work off of, okay? Because I want you to do this. I want you to schedule your own workshop and get this going. Direct mail, here's the thing. It's expensive, but you're not sending them to entire neighborhoods. You're sending these out to only individuals that come up on the list. So if you're going to do this, send postcards. Why? Envelopes never get opened. Postcards, the message get across immediately. What kind of postcards should you send? The big ones, not the cheesy little ones, the big ones. Everyone that touches the card becomes a potential lead source for you. That mail carrier, looking at that postcard, they may be going through a difficult time. Their kids may be going through a difficult time. They can refer you because of that postcard. You feel me? Now, let me ask you something for those of you that are really paying attention. You know that a Zoom webinar is worthless if you don't promote it, right? And if you want 10 people to be on the call, you got to get 40 people to register, because that's how Zoom is. So how are you going to promote that Zoom? Well, your direct mail can include information about your upcoming Zoom and how they register. You see what I did there? Now, I get it. I hate staring at a blank sheet of paper and trying to figure out what to do. Now I'm going to introduce you indirectly to my advanced program. And I know a lot of you on the call are advanced members. So you know that every month you're getting a postcard campaign. And these are some of the past postcards that we've sent out. Imagine beginning of the month, you log in, there's your postcard, waiting for you to just personalize the back of it and send this out. And it's not just postcards. It's like 11 other items that we include on there. So we got you when it comes to your marketing pieces. What else can you distribute? Flyers. Again, my advanced members get a flyer, a different flyer template every single month. All you got to do is open it up, go into Canva. And if you don't know how to use Canva, find a teenager, they do. And then they can personalize it with your photo, your name, your website address. Social media, you can't still be fighting against social media. It's one of the most cost-effective things that you can do. Now, the first thing you ought to do is, if you've taken the CDPE or are going to take the CDPE, when you complete it, post the certificate of completion. Let people know what you just did and invite people to take action. Now, you're going to have to pay to get to play. Yeah, you get so much for free, but you will have to run ads and boost posts. And we got you, because I know what you're going to say. I don't know what to post. Well, my advanced members don't have to think about it, because they get a monthly social media post to share. It's all part of the monthly campaign. Don't worry, I'm going to share how much and where you get it. Video rules. Now, I have enough trouble getting people just to put their photo. A video, you got to do video. Meet Madeline. Madeline, her and her husband were losing their home. They were referred to us by my brother-in-law and my sister. My wife and I listed their property. We got them out. We gave them a fresh start. You know, it was one of the first things I did. Madeline, your story resonates. Your personality is amazing. Will you step outside the comfort zone and let me interview you on what you went through, so that your message can inspire others to take action? She did it. And I have hundreds of views on this video now. Debbie, you need to do this if you haven't done this already. Carolyn, you need to do this. Jacqueline, you need to do this. People that you've rescued are your biggest fans. Get their testimonial on video and watch what can happen. Now, the power of animated videos is important, because you want to keep these short and they create content. So guess what the CDPE has? In fact, I've made this available free, but you really shouldn't be using it if you're not a CDPE, because that's a false advertising. So for those of you that are CDPEs or soon to be, you got to go on our YouTube channel and go where it says CDPE animated videos, because I have great videos there for you on different topics. Next, you may not have been able to hear that, but that's okay. Go there. I just don't have the time to do this. Now you're hearing all of them. Okay, hold on. Stop. Okay, I want to share something that's kind of cool. This is on my YouTube as well, so don't freak out. I was at a C21 convention in Florida, and I was inspired to do this. I says, people ask me all the time, Tony, what would I say and a live post or something. I said, take your phones out, get your phones out and record me. The thing is, I don't know if this is really going to work because I don't know if they can see that share sound. Hold on one second. You should be able to hear that now. So let's see if this works. Foreclosure. If you know anyone that's behind on their monthly payments and forget that. You know, the volume is there. Go to Jeanette. Have you posted the YouTube video link in here? Yes, awesome. Go in there, and this is me basically doing the following. I'll do it right now real quick, and then you can see it again. People say, Tony, I need to listen to it 10 times. I go, you can, just go watch my video. But imagine this. Hey, everyone, it's Tony Martinez, your favorite realtor, and I'm here to send out a very special message to anyone that is struggling with their mortgage payments and doesn't know what to do. If you or anyone you know is facing foreclosure, please understand there are options available. I am a certified distressed property expert. I specialize in helping people stay in their homes whenever possible. And when I can't, I help them to exit with dignity. So once again, don't just let the bank take your home. Reach out to me either by direct message or phone number or text or email. And remember, foreclosure is not the only option. You see how easy that was? That's all. You know what? If you can't remember what to say, use a teleprompter app. Yeah, so this is our YouTube channel. Here's where you can go. Jeanette posted the link in the chat area. You see, I have CDPE animated videos. There's different playlists that you can go ahead and have access to. Now, again, as part of the advanced program, we give you a video script. Yes, we actually tell you what to say. And what do you do with this script? You upload it to, for example, a teleprompter app. So imagine I can do this winging it. That's just me. You may want to have the script on your computer or your phone. So you're looking at it for camera purposes, but you're really looking at the teleprompter telling you what to say. Tell me if that's not cool. All right. Now, where do you need to direct people that have inquiries, either through your postcard campaign, your marketing campaigns? You should direct them to a website. You have to understand, a lot of people are shy about just picking up the phone and calling a stranger. So they may want to find out more information about you first. That's cool. Here's my concern. All of you have websites, but they're traditional websites. They're traditional websites in the sense that they're geared toward sellers and primarily buyers. Here's an example. Someone that's losing their home doesn't want to search for properties. Someone that's losing their home doesn't want to find out more about you. Okay? What they want are answers. So what I did is I partnered with some amazing professionals.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late.
The advanced program. At a website. I need someone to go ahead and mute themselves, please. Okay, better. So when they go to your website, they're finding out about options. What are solutions? What is a short sale? What are other resources? They have the videos. They have a message from me that I recorded, in essence, edifying you by saying, I know what you're going through, and as the head of the CDPE, you made the right move in visiting this website. Reach out to the person whose website you're on so they can see about helping you. And we have put together some amazing features that we can't go into, but I tell you what, we do a monthly training for our advanced members, and the video library of all these trainings we've done is available in the dashboard for the advanced members. If you're an advanced member now and you haven't dived into the training, you need to. So here's what I need you to do. If you are a CDPE right now, go to cdpadvance.com, cdpadvance.com. You're going to see the opportunity to sign up, and it's normally $297 one time to sign up and $197 a month. But what I need you to do is, if you're interested, I need you to write to support@CDPE. I'm going to have you take some action. Support@CDPE, and we're going to give you a discount code that's going to save you $140 on your sign-up fee. This is the best $197 a month you can spend, folks, because understand something. It's not just a website. It's everything I've been talking about and more every single month. Now, you can't do this unless you're a CDPE. Now, you can take the CDPE and sign up for the advance so that that takes 2 weeks to get your website built anyway. During those 2 weeks, you can knock out the CDPE course and away you go. Now, these are, for example, here's all of the items that are included: text, social report, postcard, video scripts, press release. Every single month, all of these are provided for you as part of the advanced program. Again, one-time fee, and then $197 a month, and tons of support and training behind it. Now, for those of you that are not yet a CDPE, here's an opportunity for you to grow your business as you're helping homeowners avoid foreclosure. I have 3 different versions. The online on-demand is the most popular because you can start today, you could finish today. It's about 6.25 hours of training. You do it from your home, your office, at your speed, at your pace. You have an entire year to complete it. It's 23 easy to follow along modules. And you are going to be so much better equipped to approach distressed homeowners once you go through this training. This is an amazing, amazing course. I have a Zoom version. If you like the idea of me teaching it live, but still accessing it from your home or office, wherever you are, I have a Zoom version coming up in July. So if you prefer that instead, we're doing it over 3 consecutive days. 3 consecutive days. So you just go to cdpe.com and you select online or you select Zoom. I don't have any live in-person ones right now because it's summertime. If you would like to bring me or one of my instructors out to your area, send an email to support@CDPE. We'll share with you what it takes as far as minimums to get one of our instructors to come out and teach the class live. Now, once you graduate, you're not left to your own devices. It includes your first year's membership in our CDPE. First and foremost, you can call yourself a CDPE and use our logo. You have access to our resource library where all of our forms, disclosures, and checklists. You get your certificate. You get to join our community where there's almost daily information being shared. There's this referral network between CDPEs that's awesome. Once you have a referral for a short sale in some other state, you're not going to want to send it to someone that hasn't been through our training. And all of this is $499, plus I'm going to give you a couple of bonuses. Now, the $499 includes the first year, the course and the first year. But I want to share this with you. This is brand new. I want you to write a date down for me, please. June 27th. June 27th, I am doing my first group coaching session only for CDPEs. I'm not going to post that link here because you must be an active CDPE to access it. On this first one, some people may sneak in, but then we're going to implement a policy, a procedure where only active members will be able to access it. The only complaint that I would get from agents is, Tony, I want to have access to you. How can I have access to you after the class? I go, well, there really is no way. Then I thought about it. Wait a minute. I can't do individual coaching, at least not yet, but I can do group coaching. Maybe I can get 200 or 300 people on the call, and every month we'll pick a topic. And that's what we're going to do. And I'm so excited to be launching this. And I think this is going to reinvigorate. It's going to help people to kind of get this going. So that's included now. For putting up with me for almost an hour and 15 minutes, if you're not a CDPE now, you can become a CDPE and save $100. So you're going to go to cdpe.com, enter the code, the coupon code, discount code, Zoom100. Zoom100. I'm going to give you until the end of the month to use that code. I'm going to get to your questions in a second. I just want to make sure that everyone knows cdpe.com, $399, Zoom100. Remember I mentioned LikeRE at the beginning of the class? I want you to all go to LikeRE and register as a user, it's absolutely free. I believe that you earn more as you learn. Look what we've assembled there. We have an area called professional development. In that area, I have assembled some of the best privately owned certifications and designations in our industry in one location. I have some of the top coaches in one location, conferences, one location. We're going to add a fair housing category. We're going to add an area called technology tools. I have lead generation. Folks, imagine one place that you can go to and get daily tips from some of the industry's top coaches, where you can have access to all of these trainings and designations. This is what I was brought on as president and COO. Please help me look good by a bunch of you going to likere.com, and it's absolutely free to register, likere.com. Let's see what questions we have, and then we'll go to, what is the free website? There is no free website. We offer a website as part of the advanced package, but there is no free website. Now, if you want to go to Like RE, you can become a Like RE registered user at no cost to you, but it's not a website. Okay, we have top notch. Okay, before. Okay, so let's say you were an OG, or you are an OG. You were a CDPE back then, and you haven't come back. Reach out to Jeanette by writing support@cdpe.com. If you're on our list, if we can verify that you are an OG, you can renew at the old price of $99 a year. Folks, once you get through the course, your first year is covered. After that, it's only $99 a year. That is a ridiculous amount of money. Now think about it. I just added monthly coaching to that benefit. What would you pay for monthly coaching anyplace else? And it's now included in the yearly membership. Let's take a look here. There's Debbie's domain name, Save Your Chicagoland Home. She is our most avid fan of our advanced program. All right. Okay, CP from the Sharp Institute. Am I still a CDP? So Jeannie, so here's the thing. You're an OG, probably. As long as we can verify that you're in our database, you'll be able to renew, come back for only $99 a year and not have to take the course over again. So that's one of the benefits of being an OG. Now you can take it again. We have special pricing for you, but it's not mandatory that you do it. Let me see here. All right, I think I covered all the questions in here. Does anybody want to unmute themselves and ask a question? Yes, I will be sharing the recording of today. When we're done, we're going to be sending out. Ruth, if you sign up for the advance, you still have to pay the $99. Yes, they're two separate memberships. You can't be in the advance if you're not an active CDPE. So the two go hand in hand. Let me see. Does the annual membership include the marketing suite? No, it does not. The CDP Advanced member is a higher level. And yes, there is a cost associated with it, but let me just point something out. 14 years ago, it was $99. Now it's only $197. I mean, we did everything we could to provide the highest quality products and services, but there was no way we could do $99 a month. I can't tell you how many OGs that were members before of the advance and now, and say no comparison. What we give you every single month is no comparison. Let me see. Anybody else have a question? You want to unmute yourself? Did you see some value? Did you pick up a few tips? Are you going to go out there and start sharing this information right away?
Hey, Tony. I'm actually a part of the, I received my certification. So for the advance, is it within the dashboard for us to sign up, or is there a different website we need to go to?
Yeah, go to cdpeadvance.com. Jeanette, type that in there one more time, please. cdpeadvance.com. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach out to Jeanette. You know what? Forget it. Here's what I'm going to do. CDPE 157. I just typed that in there. CDPE 157. If you go into the CDP Advance right now.com and you want to sign up and you want to save $140 on that sign up fee, enter the code CDPE 157. Now, here's the thing. We first verify that you are a CDPE. So if you're not, then we're going to reach out to you and say, you got to go through the course first. And that's a separate expense. But you can do both parallel to each other. Debbie, talk to me, my favorite person out there. How are you? My OG of OGs.
You know what, Tony, you're awesome. Every time I come on one of these things, I learn some new things and I got some new ideas. And, honestly, what you were talking about, the market is changing drastically. And I think it would behoove them to be dimensional and be able to do CDPEs too. As you know, I do short sales too. As you know, I never stop doing them.
Yep.
And I am getting so many right now that are, a $950,000 listing that was a short sale. A guy that I was able to keep in his house with 5 little kids. Didn't make any money off that, but you can bet with his testimonial and his wife being in charge of the PTO that I'm going to get stuff. In this market, we have to just, stay top of mind for people. I love your postcards. I pulled them out that I printed before, and I'm going to start doing videos showing the postcards to people. And the press releases. I just thought, you know what, you've given me all these tools, and I haven't used them as much as I need to. So this next week is going to be focus on CDPE Advanced, all the fabulous stuff you've given me. And I encourage everybody to join it. There's not going to be enough of us for what's happening, honestly.
Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you. The idea of reaching out to the news outlets in your market, I don't think anybody's doing that.
Yeah.
They're always hungry for some stories, right? So if it were me and I'm reaching out to my local publication, I would send them the link from that NBC News article or the one Realtor.com that talks about foreclosures are spiking, and then say, I'm prepared to share local stats and also share some options for people that are facing foreclosure on what they could do. And I think that between, and again, sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't. I've sent them out and people have sat on them for months, and out of nowhere, they reach out and say, we're ready to run an article on this, a clip on this now. That's what you do.
And I love the foreclosure prevention advocate. I'm going to just go on and start doing YouTube and little snippets on social media. However you do that, I'll figure it out. But being hey, I'm your foreclosure defense or foreclosure prevention advocate. I love those words. That really says it. So
well,
thank you.
Debbie's been in the game a long time. She was an OG back in 08, 09. She's never stopped doing short sales, and she doesn't miss any of these sessions. She doesn't miss it because you know what? It's impossible to absorb it all in one sitting. So thank you so much for being that example that, you always have the opportunity to learn and grow. We're very proud that we're knocking on the door of 2,000 members now. We're just about to go past that. And the more I talk to people that really follow numbers are telling me that the CDP is going to explode, but it's going to explode in 2024. That the pain is really going to start in the fourth quarter of 2023 and going into next year. That's when we got to have our game on.
And Tony, one of the things you mentioned about sending stuff out to our local peers in real estate. I mean, there isn't a day that goes by that an old time realtor says, this reeks of 2008. And I always say, it's not going to be as bad, but there are a lot of people. And did you have anybody refinance at 2.5% and use their house as an ATM and take out money to do stuff? And yeah, they're all saying, yeah, we're keeping you in mind. And of course, they all say, keeping me in mind, but it's not me, it's how to help them. But they're all saying there is no way they're going to do a short sale without my help. So, you're setting the stage, maybe not for this minute today, but for the future, because you're going to be their go-to. So,
I'll throw a challenge out there for the first 5 of you. Either you're on the call now or you're going to listen to this, that put on a foreclosure prevention Zoom, okay? with enough advance notice that I can schedule it, I will pop in on that call. I will pop in on that call as the CDPE guy, reinforcing whatever message you're giving and talking about how important it is that they partner with someone that knows what they're talking about, and that person is you. So that's my challenge, to be in the first 5. You guys could find me, Tony, it doesn't get any easier than that. Tony at cdpe.com finds me. But, you know, let's schedule it. Make sure I know the dates, everything in advance, so I can pencil it in. I can schedule in 10 to 15 minutes. I log in, I do what I love to do, and then I'm out. Anybody else have any questions, comments? There's a little bit over, but I love the questions.
Yeah, quick question, Tony. This is
Mhm.
Rashid here.
Hi, Ricky.
I'm based in Maryland. I'm between Maryland and DC. And yeah, and so my question is, what's the best way to reach homeowners going through foreclosure? Because I've sent postcards and I've sent SMS, couple of SMS, but I'm not getting results. So from experience, do you know any other way?
Yeah, so here's what I would recommend. One, a couple things. Maryland, be careful, because maybe the rules have changed, but there was a time that in Maryland, you could not call yourself an expert. That's why we also trademarked CDPE, that stands for education, Certified Distressed Property Education. Maybe they've changed that rule, but I don't want you to get in trouble. Secondly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that Maryland is one of the few and or only states that you actually can get the information of people that are behind on their payments and not yet in foreclosure. That information, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, that's an amazing. I don't know if I like that idea. Honestly, I personally feel that's an invasion of privacy, because if I'm behind on my payments, but it's not yet in foreclosure, I don't believe it should be, you know, everybody's business, but it is what it is, and you guys could use it. Let me ask you something. Do your postcards direct them to going on your foreclosure prevention seminar? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, there you go. So what happens is, you have to understand, you're not the only ones that are sending mailings out. You got attorneys that are sending mailings out. You got scammers, investors, all of the above. What are they all not doing? None of them are putting on a foreclosure prevention workshop. So that's what you have to do. And you have to understand, when you want to put butts in seats, let's just call it what it is. Anytime you put on a seminar, you got to put butts in seats, whether they're virtual seats or not. If there's 10 ways to do it, you got to do 15. You know, you got to, you know, have you run ads in the local newspaper? Have you run ads in all of the Facebook groups that people belong to? All of these things, you got to go boom, 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 boom. And look, you know, some of this costs money. So who benefits from you getting deals? Doesn't your title company benefit from you getting some deals? Does it maybe your mortgage company also benefit from you getting some deals? So why don't you ask them to co-sponsor these events, help with some of these marketing costs, so that you can reach out to larger audiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go, brother.
Yes.
Do it, get it scheduled, be among the 5, and I'll pop in on that call, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the input. All right. Well, listen, I think we're going to have a busy afternoon based on this. Jeanette's already preparing. Folks, our operators are standing by to take the calls. But I've enjoyed this. I always enjoy this. So here's the next thing for CDPEs. Find out if you're a CDPE or you sign up for the class. If you sign up today and all that, you can attend the coaching one. We'll give you access to the coaching one that starts on the 27th. I'm going to have so much fun with the coaching, because those won't be about become a CDPE. You're already a CDPE. It's about, let's talk about this, this, and this to get to the next level. All right.
Tony, I have one last question. One last
Yes.
question. Okay, speaking on the workshops, I remember during the training that you had talked about that with the flyer. But within the within the dashboard or within our program, is there something that helps us to put that together in terms of like the material to discuss if we've never done a workshop for that?
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so when you go into, oh, you're good. Who's this? Who, by the way, who was this?
Monique.
Monique,
I
thank
was
you
the
so
one
much.
that you had at the board, the Miami board.
All right, thank you, thank you. So when you log into your dashboard, there is an area right in the center, I think, that says property presentation or homeowner presentation. That is a PDF that can
Mhm.
serve as your template for what to say during that presentation.
Okay.
Okay, and look, if you're ready to do something like this, all right, I know I'm going to regret this, but for the 5 of you or 6 of you that are going to do it, if you want to send me your presentation prior to you doing it, I'll take a look at it and give you my feedback on whether you went off the rails, you're talking too much about the wrong things, or something like that. I'm happy to give you that feedback so you're as prepared as possible going in.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure, Monique. Thanks for pointing that out to me. All right, I think I'm done. Listen, we'll see you soon, right? Thank you so much for being a CDPE fan, an OG, a CDPE advanced member, and just thanks for being on the call. God bless you all. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tony.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.